Good morning, 7th graders. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Ruby's written board all over the board over there.
St. Patrick's Day tomorrow? It's tomorrow.
I know, but they're not gonna see this till tomorrow.
Oh, right.
Anyway, and not the word board like B-O-A-R-D. She's writing the word B-O-R-E-D because that's what she is, bored. Because I make her come up to school and videotape me. Just so that you guys don't need to be bored all day. I'm sure you miss my jokes.
I'm sure they don't.
Ruby said you don't, but I know Isabella does, for sure. She's probably so bored at home that she can't aggravate everyone in the classroom, especially me. Okay, today's March 17th. We are going to express two or more fractions with their least common denominator. So we're picking up at 6-4, section 6-4. But first, I would like you to take the self-test on page 258. I want it in your binder, so after you write your objective, I want you to write self-test. And I want you to put the answers on the side of the page, you know. I want you to take the self-test and make your 6 answers here, because you're going to grade it. When you guys are ready to come back on, I want you to hit stop after this, and I want you to take the self-test, because the next part of the lesson is for you to grade the self-test and go through and make sure that we're comfortable with what we're doing so far. I know some of us still aren't loving factoring, but we got to get over that hump because we got a lot of factoring to do in this chapter. So I want you to stop the video. I want you to take this self-test. Don't cheat. So another thing we're going to have to talk about is being on your best behavior, using the honor system and making sure that if it's a grade and it counts, that you aren't cheating. You have to make sure, because you're learning and growing and developing, and we've got to get through this. And if you're just cheating the whole time or not doing your work when it's time to turn it in, you're going to get bad grades, and then your mom's going to yell at you, and then you're not going to know what you're going to do next year in 8th grade. So I need you to make sure that you're paying attention and you're being honest about what you're doing. Really important. Just because we're not here every day, you need to make sure that you're still doing what you're supposed to be doing as a person going to our school and being a part of us here. Okay, hit stop. I'll get off my soapbox, take this self-test, and come back on when you're ready. Okay, hopefully we're back on and you're ready. I'm going to go through the self-test to see how you guys did. You could have checked it or cheated in the back of your book. Hopefully you did not cheat in the back of your book, because I want this to stay in your binder as a grade. So let's just look. Number 1. Oh, I'd much rather have Ramad come up and do these problems than me having to do them right now, but since I must
Here, let me do one.
suffer through. Oh, Ruby said she would come and do one. Okay, so I'm going to write them on the board, and Ruby's going to work them.
No.
Oh no, I'll work them with you. Did you just hear her, guys? She said, because I don't remember how to do these. So,
are we factoring?
well, you're simplifying the fraction. Caesar, I know you want to come up here and do this, and you can't, so make sure that you paid attention. All right, for these 3. Ruby's working on that. Of course, she's using a very poor marker that you're probably not going to be able to see. And you need to turn sideways because they can't see you if you're there. So you're there. She factored the top and factored the bottom. Now she's going to cancel like factors. Right? Anything else? The C's. Very good. So your final answer here should be 5. Very good. So easy. All right, Ruby's going to do the next one. Factor the top. She said there's nothing to do. Tell her it's called the difference of squares.
Oh, right. No, I don't remember.
That is scary, folks. Scary.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Don't draw my line.
Okay, now how do you do this bottom? Okay, there's no GCF. It's not the difference of squares. It's not a perfect square trinomial. The coefficient of the quadratic is greater than 1, so that means it's rule 5. You have to find the factors of 36. When you add, you get 13.
Just letting y'all know you don't need this in geometry.
Yes, you do. Anyway, so now it's 6a squared. So what are the factors of 36 when I add? I get 13.
8, no, 9 and 4.
9 and 4. And they're both positive because of the word add, right? And 13, they have to either be both positive or both negative. But because the linear term, that middle term is a plus sign, we're going to choose both the positives. So now we're going to expand. And we're going to cut. And we're going to GCF.
Oh yeah, and they're like 12 steps.
12 steps, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are there not
2A.
12 different steps you can do?
2a plus 3. And then we're going to pick what it has.
Oh.
That was enough for her, eh?
You're gonna make me rethink all
There we
this.
go.
I'm gonna forget all my
So now we have 2a plus 3 times 3a plus 2. Lisbeth, Megan, did you girls get this denominator by using rule number 5? I really hope you did. We're going to cancel like factors, these guys. These look like they could be opposites of each other, but they're not. So this is your final answer, right? 2a minus 3 over 3a plus 2. Oh, I did forget the restrictions. I'm so very sorry. The restrictions here, c cannot be 0 and c cannot be 3. Those are my restrictions. Remember, restrictions are given before you cancel. So if you just get your answer 5 and you're like, oh, well, there's some more variables. Remember, the restrictions have to be stated before you cancel. Because if this was 0 or this was 3, the problem didn't even exist then, you wouldn't have to do the work. So state the restrictions before you cancel, please. Again, down here, the restrictions are a cannot be negative 3 over 2, and a cannot be negative 2 over 3. Those were my 2 restrictions. How did I get that? I factored, I set each factor equal to 0, and I solved. So hopefully you're comfortable with that. Hopefully. Okay, on this guy, I'm multiplying fractions, so I'm going to cross cancel here. This is an expression, so I'm going to cross cancel like factors. So this becomes 2 c's, and this c leaves. This a goes to an a, this guy leaves. B stays, he doesn't get to go anywhere. 6 goes into 42 7 times. I think that's about it, maybe. All right, so I have 7 times a negative 4, which will give me a negative 28 over. Down here, I have a 3, a c squared, an a, and a b. So I have 3ab squared. I don't think on 3 it wants restrictions. It does not. So it's negative 28 over 3abc squared. So far, so good. That's the first 3. Hopefully you've done okay. Let's go over 4, 5, and 6. Anybody need those real quick? 4, 5, and 6. I know Lacey wants to come up and do 4.
What grade is this?
7th grade.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. They're super smart. SS.
We learn this stuff like
Here's number
end
4.
of year.
Yes, I know. I tell them all the time that 7th grade is way faster than the
No,
old 8th
they
grade.
just started before we did.
Mm-mm.
And you
You're
didn't have
smarter.
to. No, you
Here we
didn't have to go. No, you didn't have to go as fast with them like you did with us.
Yes, I know, because they had a good 6th grade base. All right, here we go. Order of operations says I have to do exponents first. This is 2x over 3 raised to the 3rd. That means 2x over 3 times 2x over 3 times 2x over 3. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8x to the 3rd over 27 times 27 over 48x. Now I get to start canceling. The 27 leave, 8 goes into 6, and the x leaves an x squared. So my answer, x squared over 6. Hopefully we got that right. Number 5, Nick, are you getting these right? Nick, I hope so. You know, Chloe's just dying at home. She's not answering or asking any questions right now. She's just all alone at home going, oh my gosh, I'm so bored. And her mom's telling her to stop asking her questions. 4x squared over y divided by 2xy over 7. Can I divide fractions, folks?
No.
I cannot divide fractions. I have to multiply by the reciprocal. 2 goes into 4 2 times. This x and this x. The y's do not cancel. Shaylin, do not cancel the y's. Don't cancel. They're on the same level. They can't be canceled. So we should have 14. Put down here. We should have 14 x over y times y is not 2y, it's y squared. So 14x over y squared. And number 6, the final. Uh-oh, more factoring. We won't ask Ruby to help us because she doesn't know how to do it. We've already decided.
No.
Here we go. Difference of squares. Ruby would not have known that.
Leave me alone.
The coefficient of the quadratic is a 1, so I can find the factors of a -6. When I find the difference, I get a -1. It's a -3 and a +2. Change division to multiplication and flip. Remember, no canceling of terms, Ansley. No canceling of terms. We're canceling factors. Factors. So my final answer should be 2x over x minus 3. Okay, 3 points each out of 20. So if you missed all 6 of them, you still get a 2 out of 20, because I'm so nice. St. Patrick's Day and all. Okay? So make sure if you didn't get them right, you marked them wrong correctly. Try to be honest. Honest. And then you're going to put the grade around the self-test. So when I'm going through your binder, I can put that in the grade book. All right, get that done? Let's talk about how we're going to get common denominators. I really need a board eraser. Not like this, like I have one of these. I just need a person who can help me. Because Ruby is just using all my ink instead of helping me. Okay. So, you guys already really know how to do this. This is going to be a super easy lesson, really quick. 3 over 7 equals what over 35? Hi, welcome to 7th grade. This should be very easy. So these fractions are equivalent. So if 3/7 says it's equal, so they have to be equal to each other. What did I do to 7 to get to 35? Hopefully you just said multiply by 5. If I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So my new numerator is 15. Shaylin, you like this? I hope so. I keep staring at an empty desk. I had a whole bunch of empty desks. It's not as fun as it would be if you were here. Next one. 8 over 3a. Yes, we are in pre-algebra, so we must be doing things with variables in it. Equals something over 18a squared. Gets a little bit more difficult, but I'm asking myself the same question. 3a times what gives me 18a squared? Well, hopefully you said 6, of course, because 3 times 6 is 18. And then a times what gives me a squared? Hopefully you said a. If I multiply the denominator by 6a, I must multiply the numerator by 6a. So that's that guy. Now, please don't cancel, please don't simplify this. Obviously, if you simplify it, we're going back here. That's not what I want right now. I just want to make sure you're comfortable with this fraction being equal to this fraction, rewritten as this fraction. So don't go, well, I have to simplify. No, don't. Isaiah, don't do it. Next one. 2 over x minus 5 equals something over x minus 5 times x plus 1. Let's think about this. I have just x minus 5, and all of a sudden it says it's equal to x minus 5 times x plus 1. What did I do from this fraction to this fraction to make them equal? I multiplied by x plus 1. If I multiply the denominator by x plus 1, I must multiply the numerator by x plus 1. You can write it 2 times x plus 1, or if you're feeling fun and you would like to multiply, you can multiply it out. I'm not going to, but what I don't want you to do at this point is to say, oh, cancel those, because I'm going to get right back where I was. LCDs.
Least common denominator.
Good job, good job. Thank God she's here, because I would be so bored talking to a whole bunch of ghosts. Hang on, let's see how long this video is. We might have to break it into 2 parts.
That wasn't as loud as I wanted it to be.
This has been 15.
We're breaking it in, hold on.